just a short video today. In this one, we're talking about how you are unknowingly intimidating the narcissist. And this is not me making an accusation against you. This is not me telling you that you're deliberately being overpowering or overwhelming to them. Because I know many of you, you're not like that. You're not deliberately trying to irritate or aggravate someone. And many of you, you're just naturally confident and successful people. Now that intimidates the narcissist, because of course those are the types of people that they gravitate towards. They target people like us, people who are powerful, attractive, successful, accomplished. But then gradually, after a certain amount of time, they begin to feel inferior to us. They begin to feel less than us. They begin to feel fearful, intimidated. Although I know you're not that type of person to deliberately intimidate, overwhelm, or overpower someone. But that's how they feel in your presence. And they see their feelings as facts. They see it as though it's something real. They see it as though if they feel that way, then you must have caused them to feel that way through your actions. And your actions must have been deliberate. It must have been intended to hurt them. And of course, because they're already on that wavelength. They're already seeing you as being above, being superior to them. So they're constantly just looking for ways to take you down, to make you feel less than how you naturally feel, to make you feel not as good as you actually are. They're constantly trying to find ways to do that, to manipulate you, to rob you. And so they're already on that wavelength, and it causes them to become very paranoid, hyper-focused on any little thing you say or do that could be perceived as an offense against them. And they're just looking for things. Even though I know you're not the type of person to even be thinking in that way to begin with. I mean, many of you, you may be rather innocent, unaware, naive. You're not thinking in a vicious way where you're deliberately trying to upset someone or make them envious or jealous. You're not going out of your way to do that. Of course, that's typically what narcissists are trying to do. And so they're already on that wavelength, and they're seeing it as though it's like a game of chess. And you're their opponent, you're their enemy, their adversary. Or even as though like it's a game of tennis, and they're doing something to you, and then you're hitting the ball back to them, so then they just hit it back to you, as though it's like some kind of game. That's how they're looking at it. They don't even realize that it's just you focusing on yourself and your own life and your own success and accomplishments, and just enjoying everything that you have, being satisfied with yourself and your life. They're not looking at it that way. They're seeing it as though you're trying to get to them. You're trying to hurt them, to upset them. Even though that may have never even crossed your mind. You may never have been thinking in that way. And if you had already broken up with a narcissist, you may not even have known that they were there. Because while they may be constantly stalking you, monitoring you, following you around everywhere, trying to get you to see this, that, and everything else, to provoke whatever reaction they want from you at that exact moment, you're just going about your life carefree. You're not even thinking about anything. You're not even thinking about them. And the way they're looking at it is that you're leaving a trail of breadcrumbs for them to follow. Almost like Hansel and Gretel. That's how they're seeing it. And they really see it this way. Even though I know many of you, you didn't have the ability to think in that way. You don't have that type of capacity in your mind because we're not predators. We're not able to think in that way. We're not able to be in that kind of position where we have power over people and we're always 10 steps ahead of them. We're not able to do that because we just don't care enough. I mean, it's not really something that concerns us. We're more just in tunnel vision, focused on our own lives. We're not worrying about everyone else. But that's not how they see it, because they're very paranoid and they may be thinking that you're deliberately healing, and if you're on social media, you're uploading pictures, you're moving on, you're living your best life. They're looking at it like, oh, so you're posting this to wind me up. You're doing this to get under my skin, to make me feel like I'm missing out on something, to make me feel like you're so much happier, so much better off without me now. That's how they're thinking. And that's how they're looking at it. And even if you're not doing it deliberately and they don't even think that you're doing it deliberately, they're still going to be intimidated. They're still going to be overwhelmed by your power, your success, you moving on. It just crushes their spirits. It just makes them feel like there's no way in a million years that they're ever going to be on your level. But many of you don't even think that way. You don't even know it. You fail to understand, even though many of you may be empathetic people. You just can't see things from their point of view because, I mean, the way that we look at it is that even before, while things may have not gone our way, our mindset is, all right, things aren't going my way, I'll just sit down, I'll just focus. I'll get my life back together, I'll get things back on track. I'll just work hard. But they don't think that way. They feel like it's impossible. They've already given up. They gave up a long time ago. They're looking at it like no matter what they do, no matter how much they work on themselves, they're never going to be good enough. And that's why they require sources of supply. That's why they target people like us, stalk people like us, because they've given up on themselves. They see it as though they've got a much better chance with you. The problem is that from the moment they target you, they're already envious of you. They're already seeking to take from you. They're already wanting to be just like you, so that they can be perceived as you're being perceived by other people. They want to get that same attention, admiration, and validation that you're getting. And that's where they come around us. That's where they target us. While at the same time, they're also very intimidated by us because they see it as though they could never be on our level. But you don't realize it. You think you're dealing with someone who is on your level because they're wearing a mask. They're manipulating you. They're deceiving you. They're lying to you, future faking, making you believe that they're just the same as you. And especially when they're devaluing you, they're making you think that they're above you. Well, the reality is that they are not. They're nowhere near on your level, and that's why throughout the relationship, you're the one who is being depleted. You're the one who is giving and giving, and all they're doing is taking and taking, and you're getting nothing back in return. That's why it always goes that way, because what you don't know and what they know is that they're not on your level. And that's why they're the ones who always have their hands out when they're around you. Even though it's not all about finances, money, I mean, in terms of energy, just the individual that you are, your qualities and characteristics, because you've worked on yourself, you self-reflect. You look within, you do the work. They don't do any of that. So you've got the power, you've got the energy, and they want to get all of that from you. They want you to give that to them. but they've got nothing to give back to you. They can't help you in any way. They can't build you up. They can't improve your life. They can't do anything for you. And that's when when they target you, it's just all about them. It's all about what you can do for them. It's not about what they can do for you. They just give you lies and future faking. Promises about the future that they never follow up with action. And this is why they manipulate you, they gaslight you, they entrance you, entrain you. They put you under a spell. Because then by doing that, they can be in your presence and not feel so intimidated by you. And that's how they want it to be, because they're not looking to be with someone who is a separate individual with their own autonomy. They're looking at you as though you're just a resource to fulfill their need for attention, validation, and admiration. However, being around you can create a sense of insecurity and discomfort in the narcissist, which can be very intimidating, especially if you are a high achiever. So you're someone who is particularly successful, intelligent, or charismatic, because these may be qualities that outshine the narcissist, which can provoke envy or feelings of inadequacy in them, to where they will then react by devaluing or undermining you in order for them to reassert their superiority. Even though the reality is that you may be superior to them and they may recognize that you're superior to them, they don't care about reality. They just want to live in their own little fantasy bubble, and they want to pull you into that as well. Even while they're leeching off you for attention, validation, admiration, and robbing you of your success, your qualities, your charm. Even though they're taking all of that from you, they still want you to view them as superior. Even though clearly that's not true, because you're doing far more for them than they're ever going to be doing for you. But it's all just a fantasy, and it's all just about them getting validation from you. And this is why they hate to experience a loss of control. It's very important for them to dominate you. And they hate it when you become independent, assertive, or resistant to manipulation. Because already then they begin to feel threatened. They begin to feel like they're just completely inadequate. And it causes their feelings of envy to resurface, to where they may then just do something to harm you, to further manipulate you, to rob you. They may lash out at you defensively. Because to them, it's not an attack, it's a defense. Because you're constantly intimidating them, you're threatening them, and you don't even realize it. And it's because they're so weak. They're so insecure, they feel so inadequate. They feel like they can never be anything, they can never measure up to you. Now that's how they thrive in this control, this dominance over you. And they hate it when you become independent, resistant to their manipulation, or assertive. And they especially view you as intimidating if you are aware of their weaknesses or flaws. Because then they will fear being exposed, or of losing this carefully constructed image. So you're going to know when they feel intimidated. You're going to know when they're afraid. You're going to know when they're just envious and they just see you as being far above them. You're going to know that because it's going to manifest through anger, manipulation, or attempts to regain control. And yeah, in some ways you could see it as though they want to be you. But it's not so much that they want to be you from head to toe. It's more that they deeply envy your traits, accomplishments, or qualities that make you special or independent. So they want to exploit your qualities for their own validation, while simultaneously resenting the fact that they lack them. That's what they want to do. And this is why they will project their insecurities onto you. They will project their feelings of inadequacy, making you feel like you're not good enough, making you feel like you're an imposter, even though you've actually put in the work. You've actually done things to become successful, to become the person that you are today. And they want you to feel inadequate. They want you to feel like you're not real. And that's just absolutely crazy. Like they will target someone who is incredibly successful or attractive, and then train them into thinking that something's wrong with them or that they're inadequate, when really it's the person that they're with who is inadequate, who wants to maintain dominance and control over them because they fear losing them, and they fear being exposed and feeling inadequate in comparison to them, because deep down they envy them. And it's all because you possess traits that they lack, but that they secretly admire, even though they may never tell you that. But yeah, they do secretly admire your confidence, kindness, success, and even your emotional depth. They secretly admire all of these things because those are the very things that they lack. Those are the very things that they do not have. And the irony is that they will even resent you for those qualities, devalue you for them, even while they're trying to emulate or control those traits, which doesn't really make any sense, because it's like, if you don't admire these qualities or traits, then what is the problem? Why are they so mad? Why do they resent you? Why are they trying to copy and mimic you? Why are they trying to control your qualities or traits? And yes, that's how you should know that in fact they do envy your qualities and traits, because they secretly admire them. They admire what they lack. And of course, because this is what causes them to target you, it's when they idealize you initially for those very qualities that they admire. That's what causes them to take notice of you. It's that they see it as ideal. They see it as something that's worthy of their attention. And then gradually, the admiration turns into hate and resentment, to where they then devalue you. They try to tear you down because they feel inferior to you, and they're trying to maintain their own superiority. And they're also trying to absorb what they admire about you. They're trying to make everything they admire and envy about you, they're trying to make that into a part of themselves, to where you may even see them mimic your personality. They will adopt your ideas or even take credit for your achievements. But it's not so much about them wanting to be you. It is more about them wanting to own or to control what makes you special and unique. And of course, because everything's so superficial with narcissists, and they've got unmet emotional needs from childhood, the big thing for them is really the validation. The validation that they never got as a child. Because for them, it was all about performance. And so they see you and you're attractive, you're successful, confident, charismatic, charming, and they want that. They want to have your looks. They want to have your charm. They want to have your success, your possessions, your style. But not so much because they want to be you. It's more that they just want the validation. They want the attention. They want to have people, as they see it, falling at their feet, kissing their toes. And I know you may never have thought about it in that way. It may never have even crossed your mind. And it took me a while to figure this out myself. But that's how they see it. And I bet you there's narcissist trolls who watch my videos and they probably perceive me in that way. They probably look at me as though I'm like this, I'm like this top dog. I'm like this this cavalier, this kingpin. And and all of you, you're just brainwashed by my charm. You're under my spell. And I got you all I got you all kissing my feet. I've got you all kissing my toes. And as though I'm like the center of attention. I'm getting all of the validation for myself. And it's making me feel so good about myself. Like I'm so attractive. I'm so powerful. I'm like the what is it? The Snow White. Is it the queen or the wicked witch or something? She looks in the mirror and she says, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? It's like that kind of thing. This is the kind of mindset that they have. Because it's just all about themselves. It's all about garnering as much attention, admiration, validation as they possibly can. Because they're so envious and jealous and they're looking at other people. They compare themselves to other people on social media and seeing it as though it's just everyone's got their own party, their own fan club. And they see it as though it's like a source of power and control, superiority, as though you're dominating people, you've got them under your spell. And kind of in a way also that you're exploiting them. You're taking advantage and it's so unfair. And you're just like this, you're like this, just this reckless beast that's like consuming everything for yourself. And you're so greedy, so happy, so satisfied. That's how they think. And I'm sure for many of you, even though this may never have crossed your mind about yourself, this is how they think about their own victims sometimes, because they're projecting their own traits onto us. And that's how they become so very jealous, possessive, and controlling to where they want to isolate you. Because they're projecting their own mindset, their own selfish mindset onto you, where they think that that's what you're trying to do. Although for us, I mean, we come into it just looking for a relationship, just a quiet relationship, a connection. Not so much fuss about it. But then they kind of paint you in that way. Because they're very afraid and they're constantly comparing themselves to you, and then they feel inadequate. This is how they envy you. But then also they do envy the connection as well. your emotional depth, your empathetic traits, because they don't get to experience that. It's kind of like they want it, they want to have that moment, but then also, in order for them to experience that, they'd have to be vulnerable, they'd have to lose the power. So they kind of resent you for it. It's like, to them, it's unfair. And that's why they just want to strip away everything that makes you special, so that they can feel superior. And there's really just this tension between admiration and envy. They admire you, but then they also envy you and they want to take what you have. This is what we often see in narcissistic relationships, to where they will end up mirroring you, they will copy you. They will pretend like they are you, and as though they're taking you and your experiences, your ideals, your dreams, your vision away from you, somewhere else. Then that can cause you to feel like you've lost something, like you've lost part of yourself. Because they're mimicking you and then they're sharing it with someone else. But actually, no, they can't be you. They can't take you from you. And it wouldn't work for them to be you somewhere else. It's just fake. But this is how they've had to make their minds in order to relieve their feelings of envy and dissatisfaction. And you see this at the beginning of the relationship when they reflect back to you your personality, interests or mannerisms, to make you feel connected to them, which then increases their ability to secure your admiration or attention. And also because they see the traits in you that they admire and want for themselves. But they cannot authentically develop those traits. So they steal from you as a way of filling their void. And it's because they lack a strong sense of self. So to compensate for this weak, fragile identity that they have, they then steal your ideas. They still steal your personality, your talents, and even your social connections to craft this facade of success or competence. But even when they've got all of that, they're still not happy because it's not real. And they know that what you've got is real. And that's why it's all about containing you, isolating you, devaluing you, making you not feel satisfied with yourself. Because they know it's never going to be like that for them. How a person treats you is a direct reflection of how they feel about themselves. They're not happy, they're miserable, they're depressed, and that's why they steal from you. And that's why they mimic you and try to take on your identity somewhere else with other people, causing you to feel like you've lost something. But notice how it never really seems to be that way with you, because they're taking it from you. And why would they take it from you just to give it back? They do it initially, they reflect it back to you just to secure your attention and admiration. But then afterwards, then they just share it with other people to secure them. And they're being fooled as well, because of course they're not really you. They don't really have the qualities or traits that you have. It's not something that they developed authentically. But yeah, they will take what they've extracted from you. Everything that they admired about you, they will take it. And they will use it to impress other people. They may even adopt your unique, distinct, particular way of speaking. your individual talents, your personal accomplishments. They will adopt all of this in order to appeal more, to appear more appealing to new targets. Because they see it as though that by presenting themselves as someone with your qualities, they can then more easily secure admiration and validation from a new source. But it's not just that they admire you and they want to be like you. They aspire to be you out of envy. They wish that they had your qualities or life. But they cannot admit that to themselves. And if they can't admit that to themselves, of course, they're never going to admit that to you. And yet, instead of working on themselves, instead of improving themselves, what do? They just mimic your strengths while devaluing you to diminish the threat that you pose to their fragile ego. They use what they've learned or taken from you to appear superior, to ensure that they remain the center of attention. But of course, beneath that is underlying insecurity, because deep down they know that they do not deserve the praise, the applause, the celebration, the admiration, the attention, the acclaim. Deep down they're very insecure because they know that they do not deserve any of that. They know that they did not put in the work. They know that they stole from you. And, not in a way where it's like they, if we're talking about in business and art, I mean, of course, nothing is truly original. I mean, pretty much everything you see these days, it's been inspired by someone else. Some of the most successful artists in the entire world, they've all got their own inspirations. They've all got people that they modeled. But that was something that they were genuinely interested in and passionate about. It wasn't out of envy. It was just out of pure admiration, to where they could actually compliment those people, celebrate, encourage and support them, rather than tearing them down, hating on them, having negative things to say about them, trying to sabotage and destroy them. Because underneath it all, what they really envy is your power, your energy, your passion, your enthusiasm to want to create these things in the first place, because they just haven't got that. Or they haven't got it because they only care about themselves. They don't care about sharing something personal and creative with someone. All they care about is what they can get for themselves, the admiration. And that's how they can do these things. That's how they can envy you, steal from you without thinking anything of it. Without giving you credit. Without supporting you, without even mentioning you, without any encouragement for your development, and instead is tearing you down. They want to tear you down. They want to be you. And of course, it all goes back to their childhood, the unmet emotional needs. They were not validated in childhood. They didn't feel they were good enough. So now they're always looking around at other people, trying to take from them. And also, this is why you've got to be very careful around them, because they will do this to you. What was done to them in their childhood, they will do it with you. They will put you through that process where they're devaluing you, they're not encouraging or supporting you. You may have felt very confident before, but they will make you feel less and less of yourself. And then they will direct you in a certain direction They will compare you to other people, and you will find yourself becoming something else in order to try and please them. But it's like you were better than them anyway, and they just got around you because they envied you and they wanted to rob you. So be very careful of that. Don't let them do to you what was done to them in their childhood. You are good enough. They wouldn't have targeted you otherwise. They targeted you because you're good enough, because you're real, you're authentic. And that's what they wanted from you. They wanted something real. Because of course, when something is so clearly fake, it's very difficult for it to get the validation that it wants. So they have to take bits and pieces of real, genuine, passionate, enthusiastic people and just add this to the concoction that is their false self, that they can then use to manipulate people to where it does seem real. And this is how it seemed so real to you when they were manipulating and love bombing you. Because they've taken it from real, genuine, hard-working people who actually care about their work, their success, and what they're doing for people. There's actual genuine connection. That's how they can use that to manipulate and to fool you. Because the person they took it from was actually about it for real. And that's how it's so effective. But yeah, just a quick video for today. Many of you may not have even realized it. I mean, I know many of you, you're very humble, modest people. And you're just not on that wavelength. You're just not thinking in that way. But you're just trying to intimidate someone, overwhelm or overpower them with your natural beauty or success, whatever it may be. But know that these things do intimidate them. It does have an effect on them, even though you may not be intending it to. Remember, they're already on that wavelength. They're already trying to entice, provoke, induce, initiate these kinds of emotions in you. So they're already on that wavelength. They're very paranoid about it. And that's how you may wonder sometimes, why are they so mad and why are they so envious? Why are they constantly trying to steal bits and pieces of you? Why are they trying to destroy you? Because they've been on that wavelength for a very long time. And I mean, you just look back. I'm sure many of you will look back now at some of your old social media posts. You might remember some of the things you said. You might remember telling the narcissist, maybe you just got a new haircut, you bought yourself a new dress, you bought a new car, you went on a holiday. Some of you might look back, you might remember these things now, and you're going to see it differently. Now you're going to start to see it from their perspective, now that you know how they're thinking. And you're going to be thinking, OMG. Now it makes a lot of sense. Why they were so mad at you, so bitter, so angry, so resentful. Why they just wanted to kill, destroy you, annihilate you. And why it's like no matter what you did for them and no matter how much you tried to make them happy, it was never good enough. Because they've been seeing all of these things. They know. They may have seen your posts on social media. You may have shared your accomplishments, your achievements with them. And it's been eating them up inside. And it's sad, but this is how it has to be. You have to tone yourself down around these types of people. When you're around these types of people, narcissists, most people in the world now, tone it down. Don't express your happiness too much. Maybe use the grey rock. Don't be too happy. Don't be too excited. Don't go flashing your money, your jewelry. Don't go showing this stuff around them. Just tone it down. Just take it easy, because it will wind them up. It will make their blood boil. So that's my advice to you. Because there's a lot of people out there, and this stuff is not meant for them. It's not for their consumption. Because it will wind them up, it will make them angry, it will make them lash out at you, it will make them want to destroy you. So you just got to be very careful. Because there are people out there like that who kind of like us, and they want to be us, but then they feel inferior, they feel intimidated, they want to destroy us. So just be very careful and share it with people who you can trust, your accomplishments, your beauty, your happiness. Share it with people who you can trust, people who are going to celebrate and support you. And, you're welcome to share your accomplishments, your growth, your healing, your new relationships, wherever it may be. You're welcome to share all of that with me, whether it's through my email or my Instagram. Nothing makes me happier than to see your success, your growth, your happiness. And, I want the best for all of you. After everything you've had to go through with these selfish, abusive, miserable, envious narcissists, you deserve your freedom. You deserve to live your best life. Because I know what it's like. But many of these narcissists, they don't realize it. They think our lives are perfect, we're perfect, we have no problems, we've never gone through anything. They can't emotionally connect, they lack empathy, they can't see that at times you may have been suffering, you may be miserable, really going through it. You experience trauma. That doesn't register with them because they lack empathy. And that's why they're always trying to provoke you, to anger you, to irritate you, to harm you, because they can't connect, they can't see you. But I get it and I understand, and you just want to turn over a new leaf, you want to start a new page, and you just want to show everyone who knows and loves you, you want to show the world, you want to show yourself as well that you can move on, that you can be better, you can be great, and you want to celebrate it. But unfortunately, not everyone out there is going to celebrate you. There's a lot of miserable, envious people out there. But just know that I am with you. I am one of your supporters. And that's why I have to share this advice with you. Because I've been through it myself. I've had a lot of envious, jealous people targeting me, trying to destroy me, trying to make me miserable just like them. So I know what it's like. But yeah, if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Click on notifications so that you will be notified when I go live again. Donations are greatly appreciated, no matter how small. You can donate to my PayPal. It's down in the live chat. Thank you, Sentinel87. Donations is paypal.me/narcsurvivor. Coaching, narcsurvivor.co.uk. And then the live chat as well, you can see my Instagram, Narc Survivor YouTube. All right, thank you all for joining me on another live, and I will talk to you soon.